Reddit, what's the worst thing you ever found out from a game of truth or dare? I found out that my younger brother was willing to do anything to impress my friends. He was a freshman while I was a junior. The dare that confirmed it was when he had to plop his balls onto a friend's head. He was dubbed Potato Sack after that I was the other woman. Not in truth or dare, but a game of never have I ever. The question was about whether or not you've ever been involved in an affair. I said I hadn't, and my boyfriend at the time announced in front of everyone, "Yeah, you have." 2 years ago when we broke up and got back together while I was with Carolyn. That was news to me. I remember her calling him a lot for weeks after we got back together, but he never answered and called her psycho. Ugh. We played it at a family gathering once. It was my mom's turn, and being elderly she opted for a truth for fear of her dare being physically rigorous. I laughed and said okay, tell us a truth. She responded you were a late-term abortion that survived. We don't play truth or dare at family gatherings anymore. That my friend had randomly decided to wear my underwear one day, had sex in them with another man, and had calmly returned and folded them into a pile of my clean underwear. When I asked him which ones, he asked me why I cared. I did a lot of laundry that night. This game almost always ends in a confession that makes everyone uncomfortable. I'd suggest never playing this game with loaded questions. A very good friend of mine confessed he didn't think his dad was his natural father. This goes back to being teenagers and being drunk when playing. Well, everyone kinda clicked when he said it. He had a oval-shaped head, skinny guy with blonde hair. His dad and younger brother were stocky and had a round face and freckles. It was obvious. Just something you don't think about being 16 to 17. He went on talking about how his dad never really accepted him. And how he did things for his dad over the years to make him worthy in his eyes. But never got treated the same as his younger brother. Was really sad. I guess at some point people need to get shit off their chest. But this game starts as fun and normally doesn't end well. Well, I found out from a game of truth or dare a girl I truly had no romantic interest in was super into me. The air of expectation after that came out for me to do something or make a move was very disturbing for me. In the end, I didn't do anything. Her friends asked what was up, and I told them the truth and I broke her heart. I felt bad, but shit. We played the kind where everyone says the truth or everyone does the dare. The question was, have you ever been pregnant or gotten someone pregnant? We were 14. One of the guys in our group had gotten his girlfriend pregnant earlier that year. They had an abortion. The girl I had just played football with earlier that day had been forcefully raped and impregnated by a 19-year-old when she was 13. She was going to go through with the pregnancy, but had a miscarriage when she was 5 months along. Another girl said, "I've never been pregnant, but I was raped too." The group wasn't that big. We just started talking after that. We had only just met each other, but that night we became very very close. I found out one of my cousins used to watch and pet me in my sleep dreaming for some kind of eventual romantic relationship. On top of all this there were a number of creepy little things she liked to do as I slumbered blissfully away. The worst part is after someone jokingly mentioned the idea of cousins having a relationship in Japan being a socially acceptable thing, she legitimately asked, "Will you move to Japan with me?" Haven't actually learned anything bad from truth or dare, so I'll share best. Hottest girl we were playing with got dared to kiss the hottest guy playing, and she kissed me. Major confidence boost for a high school kid with self-image problems. I've run Tordal.com, Truth or Dare Online, for about 10 years now, so I've been indirectly horrified by thousands of terrible things from all of you. Seriously, though, there are lots of really dark things that people like to admit: betrayal, abuse, regret, crimes, and worse. I've posted this before, but I think many of us are just looking for an outlet for our secrets, and Truth or Dare provides a socially acceptable conduit. And people are pretty freaky given the chance. I got this one. I was about 19, and had never really played it before, and I was kind of socially awkward. Anyway, big group of people at a friend's apartment decided to play. I can't remember who said what, but it probably went on for only 10 minutes before it comes to my turn. By this point it's kind of clear that our group is not the kind of group that plays Truth or Dare very well, very creatively or with any enthusiasm. In fact I think we were only playing it because we saw the characters on Friends playing it, but I digress. So anyway, it's my turn and having completely no idea what to ask anyone to do or say, I ask a pretty girl in the group, who happened to be French-Canadian, "What's the most salacious sexual story you have?" Did I mention I'm a nerd? Anyway, the girl slightly misunderstands salacious and gets upset. "Do you really want to know? Do you really want to know that my uncle used to molest me? There. Are you happy now? Are you happy?" After the very awkward silence that followed, it was decided that we shouldn't play truth or dare anymore. Okay, so I started dating this girl in the summer. When fall came around, she had to go back to college in the next state over. I drove up to her every weekend to see her for the weekend, 3+ hour drive each way, but one weekend night, we are getting drunk, her roommates and some other friends she wanted to introduce me to. All girls. They decide they want to play truth or dare. I'm thinking this is a situation that is going to lead to me being the mayor of Awesome City. Unfortunately, that would not happen. The game goes around and around for a while and everything is starting to heat up. They go from asking each other to do things that are funny, to a little over the top, and then down to things that are sexual. Right in the warm-up phase of the latter topic, someone asks my then GF, "What's your number? How many guys?" And she instinctually replies without hesitation, 26. My mouth goes from a smile from having a great time and liking where the game is going, to completely slack-jawed. She had told me I was number 3. I didn't even need to do anything other than genuinely react, because every girl in the room looked at my face after she laughed and answered the question and saw and knew there had been a lie exposed. A girl lie. A lie that almost never sees the light of day, but it was there for all to have a scodangasm over. I almost got to have a threesome whilst playing truth or dare, but passed out. It was New Year's 2001. Had 2 girls making out with me and each other on my bed in a hotel room during a game of Todd. Next thing I know, I am waking up. I was so crushed that I passed out. They both confirmed it would have happened. Still haven't gotten another chance since then. Frown. I guess I found out that sometimes getting super drunk should not be top priority. I found that out, but still haven't learned. My time to shine. I found out the girl I just started dating had been in a foursome with some 40-year-olds, and she was 20 years old at the time. I thought that it was pretty intense and this girl is far more experienced than I had previously been led to believe. It wasn't a deal breaker, but it was shocking because I assumed she was rather innocent. Not quite truth or dare, but I remember a game of Never Have I Ever premise. Someone says never have I ever. XYZ. Anyone who has done XYZ takes a drink. We played slightly differently, where the caller could say something that they haven't done before. Anyway, a friend and I were playing with a group of other people once. A few months later, her and I were hanging out together, just the 2 of us, and we continued the game by ourselves. She was being extra flirtatious and she looked good. She started asking some of the dirtier stuff, particular sex moves. So, I did what had to be done. Never have I ever had sex in a restaurant bathroom. Neither of us took a drink. I smiled, and said on that note, "I'll be right back," and headed down to the washroom. Well, wouldn't you know it, as I'm about to head in, she runs down, grabs me by the shirt and pulls me in the ladies' room. A good time was had by all. Well, except the poor old lady who was in the stall next to us, but that's a different story. Truth or dare, I've never in all those related games never panned out very well for me. In the dare portion I would end up being dared to do something horrendous like drinking shots of toilet water. Then I'd always find out some semi-tantalizing information, but nothing truly awesome ever happened like all these, possibly fake, boobstravaganza stories people are posting. For instance, I found out that virtually every female I know has made out with another girl at some point. Not the worst but definitely funniest thing I ever found out. Back in college, one of my friends who we previously thought was very prudish basically ended up confessing to having done every sexual act imaginable. In an I've never game, the group of friends kept listing off more and more extreme things and she kept taking drinks, indicating she had done it. Finally someone said I've never been DP'd by Puerto Ricans because it was the most random thing he could think of and he figured she wouldn't have to drink for that one. Instead she responded, "God damn it," like Token from South Park does when he can miraculously play the bass, and she took yet another drink. Not truth or dare, but I never. It was during a game of King's Cup, so we would have everyone hold up 5 fingers and put one down for each thing they had done. The first person to put all 5 fingers down has to drink. It was pretty far in the game, so people were getting bored and wanted to end it and use things to get people out easier. A girl said something along the lines of "I've never had sex with a girl," and all the boys put down a finger. Then one of the guys said "I've never sucked a dick," and all the girls put a finger down. At that moment, I saw my then boyfriend sneak his hand under the table and put a finger down. Needless to say, we had a little talk about his sexuality that night. A friend of mine may well have murdered a guy. We found out during the game that his girlfriend had been raped, so at that point the atmosphere was a little heavy, but we decided to carry on. It wasn't your normal sexual toward, it was a very dark, I guess you could say, digging up each other's worst secrets. If you passed on a truth or a dare, you did a shot. So it was four of us, old friends who knew each other really well. We'd been playing for about 45 minutes until I worked up the nerve. All those months ago I heard you and blank talking. I know you've denied it before, but was she raped by that guy? A few seconds passed before he just nodded. We all tried to give him support as much as possible. Should have told us sooner. Who is this guy? Etc. Well, he had none of it. It's over now, he said. We all looked at each other with concerned glances. The way he said it was a little off. Next round. Another friend asked him, "Did you ever find out who he was? What did you do?" He told us that he did find out but absolutely refused to tell us what he did. One question per round. So, next round. What did you do to the guy? He refused. We urged him to say, "Well, it's not like you killed him or anything, is it?" At that point he looked each of us in the eye for a few seconds and turned before doing a shot. Not me, but my older brother was at a college party with his girlfriend a couple of years ago. Sometime through the party, she disappeared for like an hour. When she finally came back with her friend, she was obviously super drunk, and they started playing Truth or Dare. This was at a college dorm, and after a while his GF got the question, "Have you ever had sex with the same sex?" She and her friend then started laughing, and they said yes. The hour she was gone, she had sex with her best friend. She was a girl, and yes, she and my brother are still together, but they never bring it up. Not Truth or Dare, but never ever. On an honors class trip, the quiet guy stands up and says, "I never ever backdoored a 13-year-old Asian chick on a school oval, then drank." To confirm for those of you who haven't played, he said nothing else for the rest of the trip.